It's been a year since Debbie Barr and her daughters Amy and Sophie welcomed abandoned dog Dally into their lives. They hoped she'd complete their happy home. Instead, she's entirely taken it over, and now they want it back. Dally's no amateur. In fact, she's a canine criminal mastermind. She can crack any door, raid any cupboard, and even break into the microwave.
Dally, no, out! She'll get the plate with her claw. She's got very, very strong paws. And she just grabs hold of something if it's out of reach of her mouth and drags it over.
Despite being fed twice a day, Dally will mug any visitor for food and loves to rifle through bags and pockets for anything she can swallow. Her obsessive pursuit of food makes Dally a danger to herself and everyone around her.
If you leave a sharp knife out and it's got something tasty on it, she'll take the knife and could cut herself. My main concern is that she's going to kill herself or cause an accident.
If they let their guard down for 1 second, Dally will make a break for freedom and the main road.
We can't afford any risks. One person forgets to lock the door and the dog's out.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. Debbie has had to keep everything and everyone under lock and key.
We've got locks on all the kitchen cupboards, all the doors and the drawers. We've got locks on all the doors downstairs, a gate to stop her going upstairs.
Hello.
Anyone wishing to enter this high-security home
Have you got anything in your pockets?
must pass a full screening and safety briefing.
Your coats and bags have to stay upstairs. If you take your shoes off, put them up the stairs, above the 3rd step, because she reaches them. Shut all the doors, they have to stay locked. OK? Have fun.
But it's no fun if you have to stick to rules.
Kirsten, you have to guard your food, darling. Sit round, that's it. Well done.
A few of my friends have realised that and they don't come round anymore.
OK, then.
Debbie's mum is worried that the family are becoming prisoners in their own home.
I do get upset sometimes when I think that the children haven't got the freedom that they had before.
Oh, wait a minute, you know to shut that.
Well, you only make one mistake in this house and you're in all sorts of trouble.
It's not just the children who have no freedom. Fears over Dally's antisocial behaviour mean that Debbie won't let her off the lead if there are any potential victims in sight.
We have to be on guard for small dogs, large dogs, elderly dogs, children, anybody with food, picnics and joggers.
Which means Dally spends more time on the lead than off it.
Mum, there's a dog over there. Right, there's 2 dogs over there, 2 dogs over there. Mum, I'm behind you.
Oh my God, hundreds of them. Oh, the little ones to squash.
I think it'd be nice for Mama if she could have less stress of what's Dally doing now, what's she done, what's been used, what do I have to lock.
Dally off!
Dog's winning at the moment with all these rules and things. And it is a shame, really. They sort of imprisoned in a way in here with her.
Before Victoria can hope to free the family from their dog's delinquency, she needs to experience how bad it is for herself.
Hello, Victoria. I have to take your bag and coat, Victoria, because she'll steal anything.
Really?
Sticking to her regime, Debbie immediately locks Victoria in and strips her of her valuables.
Okay.
Not the warmest welcome Victoria's ever had.
Sitting there. I'm going to sit there. Not you. Hello.
And Dally's not very
gonna
hospitable
sit there.
either.
Does she always do this when you've got food on the table?
It's not long before Victoria witnesses Dally's favourite misdemeanour.
Oh my goodness. Look, absolutely, totally focused. Good grief, I'm not coming to your house for dinner. Excuse me? I don't think so, son. Good grief. How do you live like this?
I think we've kind of adapted our behaviour and just accept that that's how it is. It's been quite stressful, actually, quite hard work. We have to think about every single thing we use, where we put it. Is it locked? Is it safe? Every minute of the day, the whole time we're in the house.
If you do take your eyes off her for a second, she's straight back to her favourite place, the kitchen, which is also the most dangerous.
Dally turns on the gas knobs and the glass shuts that off.
So Dally has previously turned the cooker on.
Yeah. the microwave.
And the microwave?
Yeah.
I've noticed that there are lots of notes around the house. Behind you here, please put the glass lid down when finished. Switch the cooker point off, please. Glass lid down, thanks. Please switch cooker point off when finished, thanks.
It's quite awkward really with all these locks.
What about these? Are these?
Yeah.
They've all got child locks on them.
Everyone here.
Do you ever get fed up with this?
Well, it's just normal to us because we're used to it now.
Let me tell you, this is not normal. It's completely abnormal. We'll see what we can do to try and help it a little bit.
When you have a dog, you have to adapt your environment to a certain extent. But what this family have done is really, instead of trying to treat the cause, find out why Dally is so food obsessed, they're just controlling the obsession by living a very regimented lifestyle in their house.
Military regime is exactly what's needed if the family wants to eat anything in this house. Every time they cook a meal, it takes all three of them to keep guard.
Is this the way then that you prepare food all the time?
Yeah, this is normal. It normally takes more than one person because that's on and that's hot and she could burn herself. So I have somebody on guard while I'm moving about the kitchen doing other bits.
If anyone leaves their post for a second, Dally will have pounced.
She's very quick, isn't she?
She's quick. And she's watching the whole time and she knows the minute that you've turned around, that's when she'll strike. Off, Sally.
That tail is wagging. She's having a
Amy?
fantastic time.
Can you guard the rolls now? Because that's all we've got left. Go away.
Even 3 guards aren't enough to stop Dally getting her fill.
Yeah, we're glad you're here because they've had dinner.
A 4th person is a must in this house.
Once Dally has had her pick, the family can sit down to the leftovers. But managing to eat them's tough when Dally won't stop scavenging even for a moment.
Dally, off. Mum, I'll watch my food. Dally, off.
It doesn't take long for Dally to get what she's after.
Oh, Amy.
Oh!
Have mine. I'm really sorry. I wasn't paying attention.
It's okay.
Horrible dog.
I can't believe that anything ever gets cooked or meals eaten in this house because it's miserable. And while the family are having a really bad time trying to keep Dally down, she's having a great time because she's getting the food.
It's time for a serious chat with Debbie.
I've kind of given up. Kind of gone,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And Dally is running your lives rather than you running her life. And that you are sort of almost living in a prison atmosphere where everything's got to be locked, child locks everywhere.
Yeah.
Are you happy with the fact that you have adapted your lives, as it were?
I'm not happy with it, no. I'd much rather we had a normal family life, normal meals, and she was part of that and laid with us in the room.
Dally's focus is everywhere else except on you. And she hasn't been taught that you are the most valuable resource in her life.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think she respects us, no.
What we have to do is that all the food doesn't come from the kitchen surfaces or from the cupboards or from the table. All the food comes through you.
All right, yeah.
Everything through you.
Food is about much more than just nourishment. It's a powerful tool in establishing order and leadership, and understanding how your dog thinks about food will help you control him. Victoria wants the family to understand how Dally's mind works and is giving them a masterclass on a dog's brain. The brain is split into 2 parts. One part controls learning and the other emotions.
When one is in overdrive, the other is less active. The reason why this is so important for Dally is because she's so emotional. When food is around, there's no learning, thought processes, problem solving going on at all. This is Dally's brain. Food. I love food.
Victoria wants to retrain Dally's mind. She has to learn to focus on her owners and not on their dinner.
Bed's a great place to be.
Dally's given her own bed away from the table, and Victoria uses chicken as a reward, so Dally sees this as a positive place to be. When Dally's relaxed in her new bed, Victoria brings some temptation to the table. Crisps.
Stay. Bed.
If Dally puts one paw out of her bed, she gets
Stay.
no reward.
Stay. Now, you see, she's working because she's listening to my commands, and that all takes a lot of mental power.
With Dally finally keeping her cool around a plate of crisps, it's time to bring in even more temptation, the jam tarts. True to form, she makes her move,
Stay.
but soon realises the only way to get a bit of chicken is to stay on her bed. To push Dally even further, Victoria goes in for the kill. The mood is tense. For the first time in her life, Dally is fighting her instinct to go for the food. All eyes are on Dally. Is she going to? No. Dally has resisted the jam tarts, and all her hard work is rewarded. But when Victoria leaves the room, will Debbie still maintain this newfound control?
Stay in your bed. Stay.
Sit.
In your bed. Stay.
It's not as easy as it looks. Dally's used to ignoring Debbie's commands.
Came out of the bed.
No, because she's taking the extra inch. Stay.
Yep. Yep.
Stay.
With practice and persistence, Dally will soon learn to stay in her bed without the chicken treats.
This is the most tense tea I've ever seen, but it's brilliant.
But to add to the tension, Debbie's phone rings,
Stay. Hello?
and she has to juggle two things at
Call you back
once.
then. Oh. Dally, in your bed. In your bed. Stay. Stay.
You're taking control now, and you know what? Your dog is listening to you. All of that focus is now off the food, more onto you.
A result for Debbie, as Dally is finally accepting her as the one in charge. Dalmatians were bred as working dogs and need lots of exercise. Victoria thinks all this pent-up energy is the reason for her bizarre behaviour on the lead.
She's learnt that a walk is pull, 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 circle, pull, circle, pull. That's what a walk is now. They just want to get to the park where they can run free.
But all Dally's hopes for freedom are dashed because the park contains Debbie's worst fear: other dogs.
Mum, there's a dog over there.
Oh no. And they get stuck around their
Debbie's
feet. That one's on
afraid
the
Dally's
bench.
boisterous
No, it's
ways
horrible.
will get her into trouble with other dogs and their owners.
The little one is too little, she'd bounce on it. The big shepherd looks like he might have hip problems. He doesn't want her bouncing on it, yeah. You've got a small child holding the lead, they'll get tangled up. I wouldn't let her off here.
Right, okay.
Debbie will only let Dally off the lead when all other dogs have cleared the park.
Coast clear, do you think we can let her off?
Dally's allowed to break free.
Go down, go and get Amy. Good girl. Go up that way a little bit. Hey, where's Sophie?
But her run of independence is cut short.
Dally, come. Dally. Dally. Come on.
Poor Dally, she's only been allowed off the lead for 2 seconds before they're calling her back again.
Come in.
So all she hears is, Dally, 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 come, 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 come. She's running that way. She's not responding to their commands at all.
Dally. This way, come
But the dog needs freedom, a lot more freedom, and doesn't need this tension around it.
I don't know those two doggies just come through the bush thing.
A
Dally,
new
come.
doggy
Dally,
threat
no,
is
leave
on
it.
the
Dally,
scene,
come.
and Debbie doesn't trust Dally to behave
Dally,
herself.
leave it. No. Bad dog. I told you leave it. I told you come.
Why did you ask her to leave it?
I hadn't asked him if it was okay. I don't want her just jumping on other dogs.
You're not allowing her to behave naturally. You're thinking for her. Soon as you saw another dog, you were like, and you were running, Dally, come back, Dally, come back, Dally, come back, like this. And immediately your body and your vocalizations changed and you panicked. And I don't think until you kind of change a little bit of how you think about it, that she's ever going to get better in the park situation.
So, Dally goes home without releasing her pent-up energy.
Dally is not a naughty dog. She just wants to play. And Debbie has to get more confidence so that she can have a pleasurable walk and Dally can have a good run. She has learnt to not respond to Dally come so much now that that word has become devalued. So I want to train her that this whistle means that she gets something delicious, because look, she's a food-obsessed dog. Let's use it for positive stuff as well.
The whistle is a good recall sound as it's clear, firm and consistent. Everything has to be black and white for Dally.
Good. Good girl.
Well, no. Just can't get there quick enough.
It doesn't take long for Dally to respond to a clear message.
Girl.
God, it works every time.
This whistle should only be used when getting her to come back to you. Only blow the whistle if you're going to give her a treat after the whistle.
Good girl! Clever girl! Good girl! What a clever dog! Good girl!
This new recall sound makes it easy for Dally to understand what she has to do. And Victoria wants to show it works even when there are distractions. But the biggest distraction is other dogs, and it's also Debbie's biggest fear. Victoria wants to show Debbie that Dally can be trusted to greet other dogs. The trick is don't panic and stay calm. Once they've greeted calmly on the lead, it's time to let them free with the knowledge that the whistle will get Dally back.
Good.
Do you see there, with the greeting, I sort of walked closer to the dog, walked up and down a bit, and then let her go. When she was greeting, I did absolutely nothing. I didn't talk to her, nothing.
Now it's Debbie's turn. This is a big moment for Debbie and the girls. It's the first time they've walked Dally off the lead with a strange dog.
Good. Yeah.
How does that feel?
It's wonderful. She's under control.
Good.
We're in control.
To put Debbie back in charge, Victoria's gone back to basics, using her sit and stay technique.
Stay. Stay. Hello, how are you? Come in. Nice to see you. Stay.
If Dally remains calm and seated when the door is
Very
opened,
good.
she gets a
Very
reward.
good girl.
Thank you.
Stay. Stay.
And with Dally no longer making a dash for it, Debbie takes over.
Okay, I'll go out the door again. Try it again.
Stay. 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 Stay.
How's everything?
Fine, thank you. Stay. That'll do. Good girl.
What you're doing is you're making her work now for food. I don't want you to give her food any other time except during her meals and when she's working for you. She's a working dog and we're going to make her work. But that was fantastic.
Victoria leaves Debbie and her girls to practice all the new techniques with Dally.
Debbie has taken control and Dally has shown an amazing capacity to learn. I have really high hopes for this family, and I think ultimately when I come back I want to see Dally more focused on her owner than the food. I think it'll happen.
2 weeks ago, Victoria left Dally learning her techniques. When she first entered the Barr family home, it was like a prison with all its locks and laws. Will Victoria find the house more welcoming now that the rules are for the dog and not the humans?
Stay.
Thanks to a simple recall command, stress-free walks mean that Dally can burn off all her excess energy. And the more exercise she gets outside, the more controllable she becomes inside. At home, the kitchen becomes a Dally-free zone. And when Dally realises the only way to food is through Debbie, she soon starts to sit up and pay attention.
Stay.
The Barr family are delighted, but what will Victoria think?
Hello.
Oh my goodness.
Immediately, Victoria notices a distinct sense of calm.
You haven't locked me in. Hello.
Even with all the gates and doors unlocked, Dally knows her place. And the girls don't have to spend all their time helping Mum keep guard.
How's it been going in the kitchen?
It's much nicer. This is my own room now. Dally doesn't come out here at all. I can prepare a meal on my own.
So it doesn't take 3 people to prepare a meal?
No.
Look. But you know what I notice? That she's looking at you
Yeah.
now more than anything else.
Yeah.
Because now you are the one that's become in control of all the food. So her focus has gone onto you, which is exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely worked. Yeah.
That's
With
amazing.
Debbie in control of her kitchen, there's no need for all these reminders.
So I think you can take those notes down now. Okay? That's it. Now you throw that away.
Now that Debbie has laid down the law to Dally, it's an open house for Amy and Sophie's friends.
Hi, guys.
Cake! Who wants cake? It is so wonderful to see the family be so relaxed now. You shouldn't be a prisoner in your own home because of your dog. Instead of Dally being a nightmare, they're having fun with her, and that is what it's all about.